For a long time, I've been outraged, saddened, shocked, and bewildered at the crime rates against women in our country. Does the portrayal of women in our movies impact their position in society? Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Sayan, and this is I Filmographer. There is no denying that we have criminally represented women in our movies for years. With a lot of love and respect for the movie industry in our country, I want to talk about a few aspects of this art form in India that are not only problematic but downright offensive. At first, I would want to talk about wooing the women situation in movies. Imagine sitting in a train reading a book. A stranger continuously tries to get into your physical space and grab attention. After you are in no uncertain terms show your discomfort, he takes your bra and shoves it on your face. Sounds offensive, right? This is a scene from the cult classic DDLJ. Imagine a man taking your pictures without your consent when you are just walking on the road. You'll cry stalker, right? This is the beginning of Akshay Kumar Bhumi Padnekar's love story in Toilet Ek Prem Katha. The first movie is from the 90s, the second one is from the 2000s. I am not even going to bring up the South Indian movie industry because that would be hundreds if not more. It is saddening to see that a decade has passed and still problematic and downright criminal behaviors from the hero are being passed off as romance. As these obscenities are happening on the screen, slow romantic music or comic music plays in the background implying playfulness. Really? Really? If heroes whom the young generation look up to get the heroine by disregarding her consent, would they not believe that harassing a woman is equivalent to wooing her? If the song lyrics in a movie go, "Honton pe na dil pe haan hoenga," what lesson will it teach to the younger generation about consent? The next thing I'm going to talk about is moral policing. Heroine faces a sexual assault from a bunch of goons. The hero jumps in to save her. Now safe, the heroine goes to thank the hero only to receive a lesson on immoral clothing and how indirectly she is responsible for the assault she faced. Sounds familiar? Yes, there are a plethora of such movies in the industry. Case in point, Raja Hindustani. If the hero is not doing the moral policing, there are a plenty of movies where minute-long lectures are being either subtly or overtly passed on about how to be a good woman. The vamp or the rebellious girl will always be in the more modern clothing or risque clothing or short clothing. And as we see the character developing into what we call a Vishuddha Bharatya Nari, she is in salwars and saris and apologetic about her previous behavior. In fact, in the movie Shaadi Karke Fas Gaya Yaar, Salman Khan's character spends the entire running minutes moral policing Shilpa Shetty, driving home the thought process: short clothes equal to bad women, traditional clothes equal to good women. Third point I wanted to talk about is the wafer thin characters. I can count on my fingers the number of movies I have watched where I had any freaking idea what the heroine does when she's not gushing or dancing around our hero. The hero works, has a family, is fighting goons, can sing and dance. The heroine? Oh, she just loves our hero. That's it. Does she work? Who knows? Where are her character traits? Who cares? She's pretty. And she loves our hero, and our hero is her savior. Radhe, Coolie number 1, Houseful 4, the list goes on. Women are complex characters, for God's sake. Why does that become a factor only in women-centric movies like Piku or Queen? Why is that not by default the portrayal we see in the mainstream cinema? The fourth point I want to talk about is the item numbers or the item songs. So in the movies, the item songs generally used to be under the pretext of goons watching a woman dancing or a shady bar where the actor has come to look for the villain, basically implying that the people enjoying the dance are luchas lafangas. But hilariously, the same item songs are being used for the promotion of the movie. What does that say about the movie goers? And now, we have moved one step forward. Now, if there is no pretext to have the item song, we add it after the credit rolls out. Sort of saying, even if you did not like the movie, please watch this scandalous dance and get your money's worth. In what light are these item songs portraying women? They are being added under the grab of women owning their sexuality, but in reality, these are being added to titillate the audience. Pains me to see that we live in a world where the use of the word item in the adjective of a woman is not even considered offensive. The tag item girl is worn as a badge of honor, and only in Indian cinema does this term exist. Please let me know if you know any other well-known movie industry where item song is such a big thing that an entire movie sells on that. The fifth point, women owning their sexuality. No, please don't tell me item songs are women owning their sexuality. These are marketing gimmicks and that is all. Taboo in Astitva, Lipstick Under My Burqa, Margarita with a Straw are other such path-breaking movies where women's sexuality and their needs are very tastefully and effectively shown without attaching shame to it. But can we call these scattered examples mainstream cinema? Mainstream cinema is our hero lusting our heroine and our heroine blushing red and running away. Intimacy is always portrayed as something a woman gives and a man takes, not as something that is to be enjoyed by both the parties. I was pleasantly surprised that in Cocktail, Deepika's character is an openly sexual individual, but then that woman does not even get the guy in the end, further driving the home the notion that intimacy is not to be earned by women. Number 6, the most important point, rape scenes versus consensual sex. Think back to the 90s movies. Heroic, all-knowing, versatile polymath hero. Demure traditional heroine. A bone-chilling antagonist. A horrific rape scene. These were the main ingredients in any mainstream Hindi movie. Countless elaborate scenes have been depicted by actors like Shakti Kapoor and Raj Babbar and so on and so forth. The manner in which this abuse was depicted during the late 70s to 80s to 90s was extremely sexualized to the extent that this social ill was deemed an acceptable means of introducing sex on the screen. In fact, to some extent, disgusting as it sounds, these scenes worked as the titillating factor to attract audience. Whence, in these same movies, intimacy within two willing individuals were shown with flowers touching each other, waves thrashing, and various other symbolic means. So, it is okay to show abuse in details but not affection. I agree that the Hindi film industry has come a long way since then. I was appreciative of the fact that in the movie Pink, the abuse was implied and not outwardly shown. It still did a brilliant job at passing the gruesomeness of the act. But what are the repercussions of the 3-decade-long misportrayal? 7th point, strong women lead. And that brings me to the last point. We are at a transitional phase of movie making currently. We have slowly started talking about female empowerment and their representation on the silver screen. And some brilliant movies have come up with exceptionally beautiful female characters. Sherni, Pink, Queen, Piku, Article 15, all of them had relatable and praiseworthy women, and I am appreciative of that change. But I'm also noticing a dangerous turn of events here. Slowly, the strong female character aspect is being a marketing gimmick rather than a nuanced change in storytelling. Veere the Wedding was one such debacle. Foul mouth, questionable character, smoking, drinking, bashing up goons, these do not equate empowered women. Do not get me wrong. I agree there are women with many such characteristics and that is absolutely fine. But women empowerment is not that superficial. When we say empowered women, We mean a woman with cerebral equality, a woman with equal space and opportunity, a woman with layers and complexities to her character. Finally, to conclude, no specific gender is to blame here. This is not a gender war. This is rather a war of ideals, a war of thought process. Art reflects life and life reflects art. Everyone should be reasonable and aware enough to understand that sexual violence is never okay, and if they engage in any such activities, then that's their fault and their fault only. I also personally believe that the onus of building a moral code is on people themselves and their families. However, movies have been historically used as a medium to spread awareness, to push the idea of good and bad. Something that is designed to influence will influence the subconscious of the mass. Hence, even though I believe in taking individual responsibility and not putting the entire blame on an industry or cinema or movie makers, they should be aware of the power they yield and use it judiciously. Because with great power comes great responsibility.